I don't usually take a trade this time of night, but I was up late uploading a new video and something caught my eye. A textbook inside Wick setup that I couldn't pass up. Oh, and yeah, I am back to doing regular videos again. So that video I'm talking about will be out next week, but I want to just break down this trade I took because it's kind of a sneak preview as to what I'm going to talk about in that new video. The trade was on the 1 minute time frame. It was in this move here after we took out the low of Asia. But let me first zoom out and talk about what got me interested. First of all, we are into this daily support level that I have on my chart. If I go back to the daily chart, I'll show you. It's really just the low of this candle. Very simple. This candle led to a push high that made a higher high. And so when we come back down to this level for the first time, I'm expecting to see some sort of a reaction there. But the inside wick pattern is what showed up on the 4 hour, which is what helped me with my timing on this, because we can see that when the market opens up on Sunday, we gap down and form a large wick off of that level. The candle after that has its entire body contained entirely within the wick of that prior candle. And so this is called an inside wick pattern. And what it is showing is a consolidation after an impulsive move. So we have an impulsive move and then a consolidation inside the inside wick here. So we have this long wick, and then the next candle is more or less this consolidation. We can either expect a reversal or a continuation depending on the broader context. So what am I looking for here? A reversal, because we're at our daily support. So once we get that consolidation, that inside wick, I'm expecting to see some sort of failure or rejection off of the lows and then a move possibly higher to the upside. So after this 10 p.m. candle closes, I'm then looking for a long once this new 4 hour candle opens up. Now let's drop down into the lower time frame and I'll show you what I saw. So this green line is the low of that 4 hour inside wick candle. And once the new 4 hour candle opens up, we can see we get an aggressive run lower with this imbalance to the downside, this bearish imbalance. So if you'd be kind of keeping an eye on this, you'd see that, are we bearish? Are we bullish? Well, we do reject off of it and then continue a consolidation. We reject off of it again. So it's seeing resistance, and then we get an impulsive move through it, producing a new bullish imbalance to the upside. So this right here is the only signal I need to want to buy after all of the context I mentioned. And so just create a limit order entry here. And for this type of setup, since it's kind of before we're really getting into London, it's kind of the pre-London. Really for me, 3 a.m. is where London, the best trades from London occur. But where I was here, I thought, okay, we have a very good chance to get 15 points because this was also the midpoint of that 4 hour body. If I were to draw you that 4 hour body right here from the open to the close, you can see that that was our midpoint. And so 15 points was basically right to, I think the stop was at 8.5 or so. So very tight risk, low hanging fruit, not asking too much from the market, but having a reasonable expectation that this is going to reverse and form a higher high, which it ended up doing. And then I was off to bed after that. But again, just wanted to give you that sneak preview as to what this video coming up is all about. It's all about this inside wick pattern, and not just for a trade like this, a reversal, but how you can use this to shape your bias for the rest of the day. So, normally I wouldn't be trading at that time, but if I'm coming to the screen at New York Open, I can see, look, we had an inside wick reversal off of our support. We then engulfed. And so now all these traders who sold based on this bearish looking close are trapped near the low of the day and low of the prior week. So this should be a level of reactivity if it trades down into it, where we can look for potential buy setup. So here we are now at the beginning of New York session. We had in London, the run up pre-New York came up to hit this gap. And so now we're at a sensitive area where the market rejects off of, and now it's coming back to retest that area of trapped sellers down here. We have this imbalance on the 15-minute. And so based off of what we saw on the higher time frame with the 4 hour inside wick pattern, we would be looking here. We would have a good degree of confluence to look for buys off of this area. And you can see you get the same type of setup where we run through these lows, and then we have this imbalance that's being flipped to the upside. Strong closes through it. And so that could be a trade that you take to higher highs. Now for me, because I was up late last night, I actually missed this. I slept in a little bit today, but I did get a low hanging fruit continuation a little bit later in the session. And what I did is another tip that I'm going to talk about in the future is using volume to confirm continuation. And so what we have here is the highest volume candle at 9:30. You can just visually see this is the highest volume candle. And then what I will do is I will look for the volume profile at that level, and I will try to identify the point of control where the bulk of those transactions, with the price level of where the bulk of those transactions occurred. And then I will want to see an inversion that's confirming this level with the support of the current trend. And so what you can see here is the market had traded down using this as my support. I want to see this inverted, which we get it right here on the 1 minute chart. So, there could have been a trade here as it's moving through, but once we hit this higher high, kind of all bets are off. The market comes back down. Again, we're still maintaining the bullish trend, low, high, higher, low. And now are we going to make a higher high? Well, you can see we flip this imbalance. We have our sellers who are probably trapped here. And so this whole area is a area where I would expect bullishness to continue and propel price higher. So my entry was a limit order here at this level at 22,958 or so. And my stop is about 15 points or so, you could say, maybe a little bit more. And then basically just targeting the highs. And this volume is a little bit of an extra confluence, which I'm finding to be very, very helpful for these types of continuation plays. So once again, this is all stuff that I'm going to discuss and break down further in my video next week, all about the inside wick pattern. I go over how to use them to spot reversals, to spot momentum changing, to validate trends, and to kind of avoid early entries. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you are. That video is coming out very, very soon, and look out for it next week. Thanks again for watching.